Hi, today we are going to build a simple but super useful dynamic calendar in Google Sheets that shows your task on the exact date you choose. You might be wondering, why would I need this when I already have a calendar on my phone? Well, here's the thing. This setup lets you keep everything in one easy to update sheet. Imagine just typing in a date and boom, your task shows up on the exact day in the calendar. Pretty cool, right? It's perfect for keeping track of your work, task, personal to-dos, or any schedule you want to see at a glance without switching apps or tools. I will walk you through each step so by the end, you will have a calendar that's simple, organized, and customized to you. So, grab your Google Sheets and let's dive in. First, let's set up the structure of our Google Sheet. We are starting from row 2 to keep things organized. So in column A, let's make a narrow margin column. Right-click on column A, choose Resize Column, and set the width to about 20 pixels. Now move to row 2 and add headers for the task list. In B2, type the hashtag for task numbers. In C2, type date for the task date. And in D2, type event for the task description. I would have this center aligned and make bold. To visually separate the task list from the calendar, we will create a small gap. Skip row 3 as a separator. So right-click on 3, the row number, and select Resize Row. Set the height to about 10 pixels to create a slim divider row. Now, starting from row 4, we will add our task under these headers with the task list aligned on the left and the calendar on the right. Now, let's build the task list itself in column B, C, and D. In column B4, type this formula and press enter. This will fill column B from B4 to B53 with numbers from 1 to 50, representing each task number. I would have the column width reduced a bit. Select cell C4 to C53, go to Data, Data Validation, and set the criteria to date. This adds a date picker for each cell in the date column, allowing us to quickly select dates for each task. D4 will be the column that holds the description of each task. We're going to fill that up later. To add a touch of color to the task number, select B4 to B53 and have it filled with a light lavender background. For the text, use a slightly darker purple. This helps structure the task list visually. Now, let's set up our main calendar area in column F and beyond. In row 2, starting from F2, we will type in days of the week. So in F2, type Sunday, move to G2 and type Monday, and continue across L2 for each day of the week. To make this weekday header stand out, select F2 to L2, go to the fill color option, and choose a dark maroon color. Change the text color to white, make it bold, and have it center aligned. Now, let's add dates for the first row of our calendar. In cell F4, enter the starting date of the calendar, like this for May 28. This will be the first date. In G4, type F4 plus 1. This will automatically make G4 display the next day, May 29. Click on G4 and drag the fill handle across L4. This will fill out the dates from May 28 to June 3 for the first week. Let's also make these dates look consistent. Select F4 to L4, go to Format, Number, Custom Date and Time, and choose a format that shows only the month and the day, like May 28. Then click Apply. I would also have this center aligned. To show multiple weeks in our calendar, we need to add additional rows with weekly increments. So skip down to F10 for the second week. In F10, we're going to enter this formula, F4 plus 7, and press enter. This formula will make F10 display the date 1 week after May 28, that is June 4. And again in G10, have this formula typed in to add an extra day to the day. So F10 plus 1. Now drag the fill handle in G10 across to L10 to complete the weeks with dates from June 4 to June 10. Repeat this process for more weeks. Copy the range F10 to L10 and have it pasted in F16, F22 and F28. Each row will update automatically, adding another week based on the previous one. To separate each week visually, let's add a light pink background to each week row. So select the first date range, go to the fill color and choose a light pink as the background. For the text, I will set it to a darker pink so it's easy to read but subtle. And press OK. I would also make it bold. We need to have this applied to the other date. To save time, I'm just going to select the entire range, then click on the Paint Format button to have the same formatting style applied to the other dates. Now comes the magic, making tasks appear on the correct dates in the calendar. In cell F5, I'm going to type in this formula. This formula will look for tasks in D4 where the date in C4 matches the date in F4. It will display up to 6 tasks for that day, keeping the cell from getting too clustered. The if error prevents errors when no task match the date. Copy this formula in F5 across to the other days of the week in the first row, that is from F5 to L5. This will display tasks for each day in the first week. Next, copy the entire row F5 to L5 down to each week starting row. So copy F5 down to L5, paste in F11 for the second week. For the third week, paste in F23. And for the fourth week, you paste in F29. Now that we've copied the formula to all rows, let us adjust the date references for each week starting rows to ensure the calendar displays the task for the correct date. So for the second week, in F11, update the cell reference to F10 and have it copied across to L11 to complete the second week. For the third week, starting from F17, change the reference to F16. Then again, have it copied across L17 for the third week. The fourth week, in F23, set the reference to F22. Then copy across to L23 to finish the fourth week. Then lastly, in F29, update the reference to F28. Then drag the formula across to L29 to complete the fifth week. By copying the formula first and then adjusting the date references row by row, we ensure that each week in the calendar displays only the task for its specific dates. Now let's test everything out to make sure it works. I'm going to go ahead to have some tasks entered in column D with matching dates in column C. So in D4, I can enter a task like important meeting, and in C4, I would enter the date May 28. And in D5, I would enter call bank. These are some real life tasks. Then in C5, pick the date May 28 again. In D6, soccer game. Then pick May 28 as the date. In D7, project review. And the date for that will be May 29. Client presentation. The date May 30. Then in D9, I will type in Kim's birthday with the date June 1 in C9. Now check the calendar. Go to May 28. You should see important meeting, call bank, and soccer game displayed in the calendar under Sunday. May 29 should show project review under Monday, And May 30 should display client presentation on that Tuesday. Finally, June 1 should show Kim's birthday on that Thursday. When you have any of the dates in column C changed, notice that the task for that date aligns with what we have on the calendar. We now have important meeting listed under Wednesday on the calendar because the date has been changed here to 31st of May. If I have that date replaced with 2nd of June, the task will move as well to the 2nd of June on the calendar. To give our calendar a polished, clean look, let's remove the default grid lines and add our own custom borders. So go to View in the menu at the top, uncheck grid lines to make them disappear. Now the entire sheet should look blank except for the cells we filled in. Next, let's add customized borders to outline the calendar area and task list. I'm going to add thick outside borders around specific areas of the calendar. So I've added borders as well for the task list on the left. This will create clear boundaries for each task entry. For the headers, let's give it a separate fill and make the text white. This gives your calendar a neat, structured look while removing the clutter of unnecessary grid lines. The custom borders make each section clearly defined, and the added colors help separate the task list from the calendar. Now, we are going to add a few more tasks and perform a final test to make sure everything is working as expected. So go to C10, select June 4 as a date, and in D10, type team meeting. In C11, select June 5 as the date, and in D11, I would type doctor's appointment. June 6 as the date in C12, and in D12, I will type grocery shopping. In C14, select June 8 as the date, and in D14, type dinner with friends. So I'm doing this just so you understand how it works in real time. Now look at the calendar on the right to check that each task appears in the correct date. Team meeting should appear on June 4 under Sunday. Doctor appointment should show up on June 5 under Monday, grocery shopping on June 6 under Tuesday, parent-teacher conference on June 7 under Wednesday, and family outing on June 9 under Friday. So each task is appearing on the correct date. That means our calendar is working perfectly. This test confirms that the task list and the calendar display are fully synced. Thanks for watching. Now you've got a dynamic calendar right in Google Sheets, ready to keep your task organized and on the right dates. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more tips like this. See you in the next one.